At 84 years old, I never thought something so simple could make such a difference in my life. For over a decade, I lived with pain. It started in my knees, moved to my hands, and later settled into my back. It wasn't sharp or sudden. It was the kind of pain that quietly followed me everywhere. I'd wake up already feeling it, like a shadow that never left my side. It made me move slower, feel unsure, and honestly, just drained me. I went to doctors and physical therapists. I took pills that were supposed to help. I tried injections, creams, exercise routines, and stretching. Now and then, I noticed a small improvement, but the pain always returned. One evening after a long and painful night, I found myself thinking, maybe this is just how it is now. Maybe this is what growing old feels like. But then something changed. Just a few days ago, I came across a simple recipe using turmeric. Yes, that same yellow spice sitting untouched in the back of my cabinet. I didn't believe it would help. How could it, after everything else had failed? But I told myself, you've tried everything else. Why not give this a shot? So I made it. I drank it. And within 4 days, the pain started to fade. It didn't disappear completely, but for the first time in years, I felt something shift. I realized my body wasn't done yet. It still had more to give. That's why I'm sharing this today. I want to tell you exactly what I did, how I made it, and why I think it helped. So maybe, just maybe, it can help you too. But first, I'd love to know more about you. Drop a comment below. How old are you and where are you watching from? I'd really enjoy hearing your story. The pain that wouldn't let go. It started with just a little discomfort in my left knee. Nothing major, just a pinch when going upstairs or standing up from my favorite chair. I assumed it was part of aging. But over time, that pinch turned into pain. Every single day. Then my other knee joined in. Later, my hips started hurting. Eventually, it reached my hands. Simple tasks became hard. Turning a key, opening a jar, buttoning a shirt. I'd feel stiffness every morning, like my fingers didn't belong to me. I began avoiding movements I used to do without thinking. I walked slower, watched every step, worried I'd fall. Sleep wasn't restful either. I'd wake up several times during the night, trying to find a position that didn't hurt. On a good night, I might get 2 or 3 hours. On bad nights, I just laid there, waiting for the sun to rise, feeling more tired than when I went to bed. I tried every option. I started with mild pain meds, then moved to stronger ones. My doctor gave me anti-inflammatory pills, but I had to be careful not to upset my stomach. I rubbed creams, tried cold and hot patches, hoping the burning sensation meant it was doing something. I also did physical therapy. I followed the plan, stretching, light movements, massages. Some sessions gave temporary relief, but within days, the pain returned like it never left. It was like being stuck in a loop. I also tried natural remedies, friend recommendations, supplements from magazines. Anytime someone said, "This worked for me," I'd try it. I was desperate to feel even a little better, to feel like me again. But nothing stuck. Nothing really changed. I remember one quiet afternoon, stuck inside because walking was too painful. I looked in the mirror and saw someone who looked tired, not just physically, but mentally. Tired of fighting, of trying new things only to be disappointed again. I thought, maybe this is just how it ends. Maybe this is my life now. It was heartbreaking because it felt like giving up. But deep inside, a tiny part of me still wanted to believe there was something left to try. Maybe something outside the usual path. Not a miracle, but a chance. And sometimes that's enough to keep going. That's when I started looking into natural options, not with high hopes, but as another door to knock on. And that's how turmeric showed up in my life. How I discovered turmeric. One Saturday afternoon, I was on the phone with my niece, Helen. I told her how I couldn't walk for more than 30 minutes without needing to sit. She's always been sweet to me. Though she lives far away, we stay in touch. That day, after I shared how rough things had been, she paused for a moment, then asked, "Uncle, have you ever used turmeric?" I laughed. "Sure," I said. "I think there's an old jar of it somewhere in the pantry. I used it once for a curry recipe." "Well, maybe you should look into it," she said. "I'm not saying stop what your doctor gave you, but turmeric might help more than you think." That night, still skeptical, I sat at my computer and started reading. First, a few basic articles. Then I found some real studies. They all talked about the same thing. Turmeric, this bright yellow root, has been used for centuries in Indian medicine, called Ayurveda, as more than a spice. It's been used to ease pain, reduce inflammation, and support overall health. What caught my attention was how long it's been used. Not months or years, but over 2,000 years. In India, it's called golden powder. In China, it's been used to treat joint pain and even digestive issues. And now, modern researchers are starting to see its value too. I read about something called curcumin, the main compound in turmeric. It's known for its strong anti-inflammatory powers. It works by blocking the signals in your body that cause swelling and pain, especially the kind that never seems to go away. I couldn't help but wonder, how could something so common have such an impact? Was this just another health trend? But then, I came across a quote from a doctor that stayed with me. Turmeric isn't magic, but it's one of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatories available. If taken properly, it can make a real difference for people dealing with chronic pain, especially seniors. That sounded realistic. Not some over-the-top promise, just an honest statement about something that could help. I went to the pantry and found that old jar. The color was still vibrant. I took it out, set it on the counter, and stared at it for a while. This thing I had ignored for years. That night, I decided to give it a try. I wasn't excited. I wasn't expecting miracles, but I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Curiosity. And sometimes, at this age, curiosity is the first spark of hope. Why turmeric works. A simple look. Turmeric is a root that looks a lot like ginger, but its bright yellow color sets it apart. It's long been used for flavor, but many folks don't know it's also been a go-to natural remedy for ages. The secret? A compound inside it called curcumin. Curcumin is the real hero here. It gives turmeric that golden color, and more importantly, its power to fight inflammation. Here's the thing. Inflammation isn't always bad. When you cut yourself or catch a cold, inflammation helps your body heal. That's called acute inflammation, and it's helpful and short-lived. But sometimes, your body doesn't know how to shut it off. It keeps sending out signals like something's wrong, even when nothing is. That's called chronic inflammation, and it's the kind that slowly wears you down. It causes joint pain, stiffness, fatigue, and more. It's common in older adults, and many of us live with it every day without knowing that's what it is. That's where curcumin comes in. It works by blocking the specific proteins in your body that trigger chronic inflammation. Over time, it can reduce pain, help you move better, and bring your body back to balance. And the best part? It does it gently. It doesn't upset your stomach or come with nasty side effects like some medications do. Now, turmeric isn't a replacement for your prescriptions, but it is a great addition. It works alongside what you're already doing. It doesn't just numb the pain, it addresses why the pain is there. For folks our age, that matters. Our bodies are more sensitive. We don't always react well to strong medications. But turmeric is natural, gentle, and safe if used the right way. It's something you can easily work into your routine. Let me tell you, if turmeric could help someone like me after years of trying everything else, maybe it can help you too. I remember reading a line once that really stuck with me. Turmeric doesn't work like magic. It works like nature. Slow, steady, and deep. That sums it up perfectly. It's not about magic. It's about natural science and staying consistent. How I made the recipe, step by step. After reading article after article, I decided to try it, but I didn't want anything complicated or full of ingredients I didn't recognize. I looked for something simple and natural, something I could make with what I already had at home. That's how I ended up making what a lot of people call golden milk. Here's what I used. 1 level teaspoon of turmeric powder, a small pinch of ground black pepper, 1 cup of unsweetened plant-based milk. I used oat milk, but almond, rice, or even dairy milk works. ½ teaspoon of coconut oil, extra virgin olive oil works too. A bit of fresh grated ginger, optional but a nice touch. How I prepared it. I poured the milk into a small saucepan. Then I added the turmeric, black pepper, ginger, and oil. I put it on very low heat and stirred gently with a wooden spoon to keep it from sticking. I didn't let it boil, just warmed it until it was steaming. I kept it there for about 5 minutes, stirring the whole time. Once it was ready, I strained it through a fine filter, just to catch any bits of ginger or powder. I let it cool a little and drank it slowly. The flavor? It's earthy, slightly spicy from the pepper, but warm and comforting. The oil and plant milk give it a smooth texture. If you like, you can add a little natural honey, but I actually preferred it plain. One thing I really want to stress, don't skip the black pepper. It's not for taste, it's essential. Pepper contains something called piperine, which boosts how well your body absorbs curcumin, the active part of turmeric, by up to 20 times. Without it, you're missing most of the benefit. Just a pinch makes all the difference. I made a few mistakes in the beginning. The first was using too much turmeric, thinking more would mean faster results. Don't do that. The flavor becomes overpowering, and more doesn't equal better. The key is staying consistent, not increasing the dose. I also tried making it in the microwave once, but I didn't like it. The best way is slowly on the stove, with care, like a quiet little routine each night. I drank my golden milk every evening before bed. I replaced my usual coffee or tea with it. The warmth helped me relax. And more than that, it gave me a sense of control, a feeling I hadn't had in a while. That, I think, is the secret. It's not about expecting instant results or using too much. It's about sticking with it, listening to your body, and doing one small good thing for yourself every day. What I noticed on the first 4 days, on day 1, I didn't expect anything. I just followed the recipe, drank the milk slowly, and sat in the kitchen with the cup in my hands. It was warm. It tasted like something familiar, earthy, gentle, ancient, but it also tasted like doubt. I didn't really believe this would help me. Not after all I tried. I told myself, there's nothing to lose. The second morning, I woke up feeling like I usually do, a little stiff, slow to move. But while making breakfast, I noticed something. My legs felt lighter. I climbed the front step with less effort. It wasn't that the pain was gone, but I moved a little more freely. By afternoon, I was walking to the bedroom and felt my steps were a bit stronger, like my body was starting to remember something. That night, I made the drink again, this time with more care. As I stirred the milk, I realized I was curious to see how I'd feel the next day. That little spark of hope felt more powerful than any pill. Day 3 really surprised me. I got up with more energy. I didn't have to rub my hands for 10 minutes just to open the window. I walked through the hallway without that constant ache in my knees. The stiffness hadn't vanished, but it had eased. And more than anything, I felt less afraid of moving. You know that fear, the kind that creeps in when you're scared a movement might hurt? That was fading. Later that day, while sorting through papers, I bent down to pick something up and didn't even think about it. That's when it hit me. I was doing things I'd stopped doing, and I hadn't even noticed. Tiny movements, small tasks, ones we quietly give up when we hurt. But now, it felt like my body wanted to try again. Day 4 was emotional. I don't know if it was the turmeric or just the act of caring for myself, but I felt different, more connected to my body. I made breakfast, took a walk in the yard, and called my niece to share what I was feeling. She laughed and said, "See, Uncle? Sometimes healing isn't in the medicine cabinet, it's in the kitchen." That night, lying in bed, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. Not because the pain had vanished, but because something inside me was changing. My body didn't feel broken anymore. It felt like it was slowly waking up again. For the first time in a very long time, I felt like my body was mine again. No, it wasn't a miracle. It wasn't some overnight fix. But it was a beginning. A moment that reminded me, even at 84, there are still new paths to walk. What I learned, and what you should know if you try this. After several days of drinking turmeric milk, I learned something important. This isn't a miracle, but it is real. It's not like flipping a switch. It's more like slowly opening a window and letting in fresh air. The body responds, but on its own time. It's not a replacement for your medications. I didn't stop taking what my doctor prescribed, but this complemented everything else. It gave my body a gentle, natural boost. It doesn't work like a pain pill. You won't feel results right away. The secret is to be consistent. Treat it like brushing your teeth, just part of your daily routine. Give it time. Let it work. Relief doesn't come from just one thing. This is part of a bigger picture. Eating better, moving a little each day, sleeping well, staying calm. Everything adds up. My personal tips, if you're going to try it: use high-quality turmeric, organic if possible. Don't skip the black pepper. It's key to making it work. Don't overdo it. 1 teaspoon is enough. Drink it once a day, preferably in the evening. Pay attention to how your body feels. Trust yourself. At 84, I've learned it's never too late to feel better. It wasn't just the turmeric. It was the care, the intention, the reminder to myself that I still matter, that I'm still worth looking after. And guess what? Your body listens. If you're waking up with pain, I understand. I've been there. But don't give up. Stay curious. Ask yourself, what if this helps me? It's not about miracles. It's about small steps, like a warm cup made with care. Have you tried something like this? I'd love to hear your story in the comments. And if this touched you, share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe for more simple ways to feel better at any age.